My name is Victor Rubidoux. I'm a tribal member of the Iowa tribe here at the Eagle Aviary. It was in December, I think, of '02. I always like to say it must have been a slow news day because it was on the front page of the Tulsa paper about taking an eagle from Oklahoma to the Zuni's, and that caught my attention, and got to reading it and found out that the Zuni's were the first native aviary, and they took in injured birds under the religious use permit. And in that article, John Antonio was at the time was the tribal liaison for U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and he said this might be a good project for some tribe in Oklahoma to do. And I thought, well, we have our bison project, and we have our wetlands and our conservation area, and I know how our folks revere the eagle. So I thought, well, maybe we could do that. So we got to looking into it. No funding. The tribe found out they had a first ever tribal wildlife grants, and they wrote a grant. And the first one was rejected, and so they wrote the second one, and they got it. So they called me and asked me if I wanted to do it. Said, you kind of started this. Would you like to do it? Looked at other facilities and got the minimum standards and seen what they required, and got a construction company. And while they were building it, I went to the Birds of Prey Foundation in Broomfield, Colorado, and they required me to get 2 weeks of migratory bird training, and that's where I got my training at. But I really didn't know if this is what I wanted to do until the last evening that I was there. A lady came in from Utah with 2 golden eagles, and it was getting dark, and the lady that was running the operation said, we need to get them in their cage before it gets dark. So she opens the cage, she stands there, and she's got a towel in her hands, and it's a big dog crate that they came in. And she's talking to them, and the eagle turned around with its back to her, and she opened the door up, reached in, put the towel over its head, down and picked it up, and off we went to the cage, and she released it in. And then as soon as we were walking back, and when we got back to the van, she handed me the towel and said, your turn. And I'm glad I paid attention to her. So when I did the same thing she did, I picked up the eagle, and I've got an eagle. I'm holding an eagle, And after over 500 catches, it's still the same feeling. Just like the first time I've got an eagle, because you can feel the power, the energy from that bird, It's a good feeling. And then, that's when I decided that's all that time, didn't know for sure until I had hold of that eagle, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. Set the pecking order.
Great Walker was a warrior and a leader of the Iowa people during a time of great change. In the early 1800s, when Great Walker was young, the Iowa lived on land that is now part of the states of Iowa and Missouri. By the time Great Walker was an adult, settlers had begun to move from west of the Mississippi River in large numbers. Their hunger for land threatened the Iowa's way of life.
1821, much of the Iowa's traditional homeland became part of the new state of Missouri. Great Walker, along with his good friend White Cloud, believed there was nothing they could do to stop settlers from coming. In 1824, they traveled together in Washington, D.C. to sign a treaty with the United States government. In that treaty, the Iowa promised to give up their right to hunt and live on all land located inside Missouri.
After he returned home from Washington, Great Walker realized he had made a mistake. He regretted selling the Iowa's claim to the land on which his ancestors had lived and died. Vowing to defend their right to live on the land of their forefathers, Great Walker led a group of about 60 people to live just outside Missouri's northern border. They set up their village along the Chariton River on land the Iowa still had rights to use under the treaty. There, they did their best to carry on the lifestyle and traditions of their ancestors, even when it meant defending themselves and their land against settlers.
Like most Native American people who lived long ago, the Iowa did not keep written records about such things as births, deaths, and other important events. For this reason, we know very little about Great Walker's childhood. In fact, we don't even know what he was called as a child. He earned the name Great Walker as an adult because, according to one legend, he once walked 100 miles in 24 hours to conduct a raid of Dakota Sioux enemy.
Great Walker wanted to be an Iowa headman. Because he was not born into a family of leaders, the only way he could become a leader was by proving himself as a brave and skillful warrior.
While Great Walker sometimes took part in the war parties with other Iowa men, he became known for raiding enemies on his own. Through skill and bravery, he became a military leader.
Though they were highly skilled in battle, there was one rival that White Cloud and Great Walker could not stop. The Iowa were surprised to learn that the Louisiana Purchase had made their homeland a part of the United States in 1803.
As the settler population grew, wild game became harder to find. The Iowa also found it difficult to gather enough hides to exchange with the traders to buy goods. As a result, the Iowa suffered from hunger and disease and had a hard time staying warm in the winter. In order to find more food and fuel, they left the Des Moines River Valley. They slowly moved their villages closer to the Missouri River. But even there, white settlers were common and the animals the Iowas needed to survive were scarce.
The Iowa leaders met with the two men who had arranged the treaty for the U.S. government, Thomas L. McKinney and their friend William Clark. The Iowa had never sold any of their land rights to the United States before. Great Walker and White Cloud did not want to be the first to do so, but they felt they had no other choice. They knew they were not powerful enough to stop settlers from coming to Missouri. They hoped that the money they got for the land would help their people buy food, clothing, and tools. On August 4th, 1824, the two Iowa leaders sadly agreed to sell their rights to all their land in Missouri for $5,000.
He believed that the only way for the Iowa people to survive was to work with the settlers and the government. During the long trip back to Missouri, both Great Walker and White Cloud had time to think about the treaty they had signed.
But Great Walker believed that he had made a mistake. He thought about the land rights he had agreed to sell to the United States. His people had lived on that land for more than 100 years, and many of his relatives were buried there. He felt so bad about leaving those old ones behind that he had painted his face black. This was Great Walker's way of showing his regret for signing the treaty. "I am ashamed to look on the sun," he explained to the U.S. officials. "I have insulted the Great Spirit by selling the land and the bones of my fathers. It is right that I should mourn always."
I work for the Iowa tribe at the tribe's horse barn. The horse barn offers horseback riding to all the tribal members, and we do like educational help with educational programs to introduce the kids to the horses and let them learn more about them and how to, be around them and just have fun riding them.
Can I ride still?
We just started the summer youth, came out this summer, and there's approximately 30 to 35 children that come out, and I teach them a little bit of something different every time they come out, and then we also spend some time on horseback to get them, to have the fun part of the experience. Some of them are kind of, scared about getting on the horses, and then they kind of get used to it, and then some they've never been on, but they've finally gotten on a horse and they're excited about it, and I think they really like the experience.
First, you would have to kind of introduce yourself to the horse, because the horse doesn't know you either, so you have to kind of introduce yourself to the horse and make a connection to the horse, and I feel like that would make you feel more safer and comfortable.
If we got enough people here to, participate, and they want to do eventing, play days, rodeos and different kind of things, then we want to give them the opportunity to do that if they want to come out here and do that. I got my first horse when I was 28 years old, so it's been about 12 years, and I've spent all that time basically just learning stuff on my own. I didn't take any classes or anything. I just kind of picked it up here and there, and then finally just got comfortable riding. And myself and a lot of friends, we like to do trail riding, going to different parks and camping out and just enjoying our horses. I really think this is probably the best job I've ever had. I mean, I really love horses, and everything I do here, I've enjoyed. Even the hard stuff like mowing grass and just the dirty work, it's still fun. I mean, I'm outside, I'm with the horses. If I get tired of doing something, then I can stop and visit with the horses a little bit and, then continue on. But it's kind of like it's a non-stress job for me, because the horses kind of help you with that stress, and they kind of help you therapeutically. They help you just, so I think the best job that I've ever had.
It happens the third weekend in June. Then there's score dance in the Chena building in the mornings and afternoon. And then everybody's invited to it and can attend. I mostly just do cloth, just traditional cloth. This year it starts on Friday and goes through Saturday and Sunday. I feel very honored, and I feel that I will do my job to be respectful and to honor the tribe. Well, this year we had our first beauty or princess pageant for the first year. It was pretty fun. At the beginning of the day in the afternoon, there's score dance, and then it moves on to the grand tree. I've been dancing since I was 1. I've been dancing for a while, so I can carry on the traditions of our Native American culture, because I believe that we should continue to pass it down and to not let it die out. Well, I know different tribes have different types of dancing, and it's always fun to see their unique ways and how they participate in their powwows.
I was raised here, and I went to powwows throughout my lifetime. I used to war dance, believe it or not. To honor me as a senior citizen, so that's why I'm here. Plus, I going through with the honor guards.
Spartan! Who? Port! Flag! And a dead step! Who?
They got me as the senior man of the year of the tribe, so therefore I'm participating.
The committee is recognizing them as elders here at the powwow. We got a nice warm blanket here in case Leroy gets cool tonight. Beautiful blanket.
I just enjoy the company, the music, and I like to see all these dancers dance, all the pretty costumes and all the ladies, all the regalia that they have on, It's all genuine Indian, that's what it's got to be, so that's what it is today.